And we are live. What's happening, everybody? Looks like we're doing well. Oh, I don't have my Lazy Susan out. Here we go, wait. Inkspot, James, Quinns, welcome back. So I was out today, and when I got home, I worked a little bit on our Popeye portrait. I'm going to show you what progress I made. Wait, how's the lighting there? Hold on a second. Bear with me. Yeah, getting the stubble in, adding in detail, added a couple scars on his chin, getting the other ear in, adding the back though is like pretty blank. It actually looks fine. Here's the thing, it's like when a piece is just matte gray like this, you guys know what I mean when I say that it like you like don't even need to paint it. It just, this clay holds detail very well. And even in relatively neutral lighting, it just catches the light so well. You know what it is? There's something about the gray that just, it catches the shadows and the lights in all the right places. Buck Brothers, welcome back. Rocco, welcome back. Josiah, welcome back. Yeah, no, you guys we were all together for 4 hours last night working on this. So what I'm gonna do with this, like, I'm gonna be honest with you, like, I like kind of don't even want to paint this. I have to, but it's making me see like the potential for making pieces that are not painted. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish this right now. I'm going to step out at one point so I can set it to bake. I'm going to have to preheat the oven. Or maybe I'll bake it after the stream. I'm going to bake it tonight. And then I don't know, do something else on stream. Maybe I'll start working on that other shot. Where the heck is it? But yeah, no. It's beautiful. Yeah, and I don't know, maybe I'll sell this after. So people are always asking, like, do you sell your props from your films? And I always say no, because the clay, it's modeling clay. It's not meant to be, to stand the test of time. It's meant to be moved, and that's it. Not put on display. It melts. But for something like this, like, I could sell a piece like this. Now, granted, something that's handmade like this, the clay, it does deteriorate a bit over time. I don't know how, like, you can prevent it. I looked at Sculpey's website. This is being made with Super Sculpey, by the way. Also, everybody, remember to drop a like and join the Patreon. You can do it for free. Just in case anything like ever happens here on YouTube, like if my channel gets deleted. Not saying I'm planning on that happening, but like, there's been weird stuff going on with YouTube lately where like animators have been getting their channels deleted or demonetized. But I'm just like, yeah, I want to begin establishing some kind of like a lifeline in the event that something were to happen to my channel. That way you guys can follow up with me and, not lose me. Oh, yeah. All of these little stubble bits, I mean, pretty much everything on the sculpture, but all those stubble bits have to be done by hand with this tool. It's just doing this for a really, really long time. Yeah, I was working on this actually, you know what? I'm gonna start the work clock. I was working on this for like an hour before starting to stream, and it was just like super, super chill. I was like, listening to my music, just working on the eyes, working on the wrinkles, working on the stubble. It was just so nice. But I wanted to take like an hour break because I knew I would be streaming. Also, it was just turning the piece was just turning out so darn good. I was like, I wanted I wanted to save some for the rest of you guys. Now, the other thing with my projects I tend to notice is like I always go, as I say, a little bit too far. Like arm is itchy. Like I said that like I could have just made this with modeling clay. The modeling clay I have is very good. It catches the light so well. Like I could have done that and it would have been perfectly fine. But I don't know. I just wanted to see what it would be like doing a proper sculpture. I'm curious to see how it catches the light, how it looks on camera. And I have the added benefit of having a little trophy from working on this animated project. You know what I mean? Unless I decide to sell it. I make so many of these, it's like, you know, like I have so many of these, I don't know what to do with them. Granted, I don't sculpt that much these days, but I'm hoping that that'll change. We could do more of these sculpting streams. Yeah, I mean, you guys were all here. We were talking about movies and stuff last night. We were having a complete nerd out. When you're applying all of these little stubble bumps into the clay, it's tempting to want to like do a little bit in this area, do a little bit in that area, kind of jump all around. But I do think it's better to just focus on just one spot, like just start in one area and work from there because then you're less likely to miss anything. Yeah, super curious how this is going to look when it's painted and photographed. So the other thing about this project is in the credits there is trying to think like in the credits everyone gets their own little portrait. A lot of 2D art, you draw your own Popeye portrait and it goes in the credits and it shows with your name. So another reason why I thought to make this portrait like really, really fine detailed was like, okay, not only is this going to appear in the animation, but this is going to appear in the credits. This face is going to represent me and my brand and my channels. So I wanted to go the extra few miles and really, really make something that'll stand out. That's interesting, Buck Brothers. But I would not, my personal advice is I wouldn't pine about what could be. You know, YouTube is what it is. It's not perfect. But the thing is, YouTube was never perfect. You know? YouTube was absolutely never perfect. So, like, don't think, if you feel that you've missed your chance, don't think that you've missed your chance because you didn't start making content at a certain time. I don't know if that's what you were suggesting, but like just YouTube's been around for a long time and it's going to be around for a long time more. So it's just like, don't let it dissuade you from pursuing creative stuff. Now, something that I've talked about with my students is, one thing that I always emphasize is just how easy it is to make your own, anything that's film related, anything that involves like photographing stuff or taking a video of something. Anything related to that is so much easier because of the advent of digital media. So I remember being a little kid and seeing the Frog and Toad stop motion films. How many of you here have seen the stop motion Frog and Toad films? How many of you even read Frog and Toad? I don't know if any of you guys read it, but there was a series of cartoons, stop motion cartoons, and they are legit like amazing and very faithful to the books. All right, so we have a few people that have seen it. Yeah. So you've seen the cartoons, but let me know if have you guys seen the little 8 or 9 minute documentary that was made by the animator who produced those films, John Clark Matthews? So when I was a little kid and I would watch the Frog and Toad cartoons, at the end of one of the DVDs we had, there was a little film made by John Clark Matthews where he breaks down the process, everything that went into making those Frog and Toad films. Oh, I didn't know there was going to be an animated film at Blue Sky. That's interesting. It's cool. But yeah, so you can look this up on YouTube. There is well, not now because, you know, where you're enjoying my wonderful stream, but there is like an 8 or 9 minute documentary about the making of the Frog and Toad films. And it is so good, like so good. Only 9 minutes long. It is not long at all. And it's so creative and so fun. It's presented very well. But one of the most jarring, insane parts about that documentary is like, you have a guy making these films in, you know, like a basement or something like that. I don't know, a little studio space, like a house. But to do everything, taking the pictures, developing the film, listening to the audio, keeping track of the pictures taken, it required so many different pieces of equipment. There was a giant contraption just for previewing the audio. It was done on tape. The exposure sheet was a physical sheet, a physical piece of paper that had to be drawn in. And not to mention, obviously, the film that was being taken that had to be brought over to a development studio and developed overnight just so John Clark Matthews could see what he photographed, what the animation even looked like. There's a fun little time lapse, a little sped up area of him walking out of his studio, getting in the car, and they show like a dash cam video of like him driving all the way to the studio and dropping it off, leaving it overnight, and then coming back the next day. And I was just like, I was blown away. when I was a kid. Just thinking like, oh my God, like here I am doing this on my iPod and on my mom's old laptop. I can take pictures and instantaneously see the feedback. And not to mention Dragon Frame, that physical sheet that John Clark Matthews is filling out, the exposure sheet, that exact same exposure sheet, excuse me, is integrated, like looks exactly the same. It's integrated digitally into Dragon Frame. Now, other stop motion programs might not have like a formal professional exposure sheet, but like I was just blown away. Like it looks, the one that John Clark Matthews was using on paper, it looks exactly like the one in Dragon Frame, except he has to draw it in with pencil and hopefully not lose it. Me personally, I really don't like paper. I know that people like working on hard materials, and that's what I'm doing right now, like absolutely, but like paper is just, it takes up so much space. It's extremely heavy, just stacks of paper. When it comes to storing information, I love being able to type stuff in, look it up on my phone, and just instantly find it. I don't think it was Weston Woods, Buck Brothers. I used to watch Weston Woods cartoons a lot. My grandfather was a composer for some of their projects, quite a few. But yeah, it was like back to Frog and Toad. Yeah, it was John Clark Matthews. The thing was, John Clark Matthews also did, I don't know if any of you guys have heard of this, he did a lot of stop motion short films based on children's stories. So Curious George, Uncle Elephant, Stanley and the Dinosaurs, Ralph S. Mouse. He did a lot of things based on children's stories. And they were good. They were really, really good. Morris the Moose. Oh my God. Have any of you guys seen Morris the Moose? I need to rewatch that. They are really, really funny. Morris is such an awesome, cute, adorable stop motion character. I mean, this just to switch subjects for a sec, I think the sculpture is like just about ready. It doesn't need much more, I'm going to apply some detail on the back of the head, which isn't even going to be on camera. Like, that's the thing. It's probably just kind of overkill at this point, but just want to, Yeah. So the funny thing is, I was talking about the Puppetoon movie last night. We were all talking about just so many movies, but George Powell Puppetoon movie came up, and at the end of the Puppetoon movie, Gumby walks out with Pokey and the dinosaur, and they're just surrounded by a whole bunch of stop motion characters, and they're all saying thank you to George Powell. And actually, a few of John Clark Matthews' characters, they show up at the end of the movie. Toad from Frog and Toad shows up. Curious George shows up, and it's been a while since I've seen the movie, so maybe a couple others. But yeah, no, in the 80s, like John Clark Matthews, he made a lot of stuff. Very good quality stuff. What I think I'm going to do is add a little support underneath the chin. But yeah, so like what I was saying earlier, just something I always tell my students, it's that like if you like forget about internet fame for just a second. First of all, fame is just kind of can be given to anyone at this point. It doesn't necessarily mean anything. You can get like millions and millions of views on TikTok overnight for doing nothing. And, you know, but how much of that fame does not equate to success in terms of monetary success. You know what I mean? I made like one TikTok that just got crazy amounts of views. And, you know, that's great. Like, go me. But I've made this much money from TikTok. You know what I mean? It's just, it's just exposure. So it's like, forget about the exposure for just a couple seconds and just think about, like, at the end of the day, you're sitting down working on your thing. At the end of the day, I'm just sitting here working at my desk, right? So the means to do stuff like take video, make stop motion, making films, like all of this stuff is so much easier. Well, it's not easy, but the means to do it, all because of digital media. Like, this is a really special time we're living in. Yeah, like Inkspot with some effort and some engineering and trying to think what the word is. With some positioning, you could make money from TikTok, and I'm sure that there are people that do. But yeah, it's just like when it comes to making the art or the film or the animation itself, like this is all of my heroes in animation. They didn't have access to, they couldn't make an entire web series of Lego animations on their mom's old laptop when they were 10 years old. They couldn't do that, you know? And if it wasn't for digital media, I really don't know what my life would have turned out like. Maybe I would have gotten into film or animation at some point. But if I needed to have like a huge like film camera and develop footage and all that stuff, I don't know if I would have gotten into stop motion as early as I did. And even if I did, I certainly wouldn't have been able to connect with people and distribute the cartoons at the scale that I did, you know? Yeah, fame is eye candy. It is. You can, there are like so many different things that you could do to get famous on the internet, like pretty much anything you could do. But I know that like when it comes to applications like TikTok and Instagram, very, very high publicity, you're always like trying to get just so many people to see your stuff. But what I'm trying to emphasize, hope you like my monkey, by the way. I did not make him. I actually bought this guy, but anyway, it's like, yeah, you're always fixating on getting as many people as possible to see your work. But I would rather kind of get the right people to see my work. Not necessarily everybody, but just the right people. Quality over quantity. Because I remember like when I was a kid and YouTube was, new gummy bear music videos, YouTube 2009, Fred Figglehorn, all those like weird like little pioneers in the YouTube sphere. Like when that was first like a thing, if you went viral on YouTube, it was like the whole internet was watching you. But now, like, videos get millions and millions of views every day, and, it's just like there's all these niches and subcategories and, communities on the internet. So I wouldn't beat yourself up about, like, not having millions of followers. I do not have millions of followers. I'm gonna tell you that. I've been doing this for over 10 years, and I do not have millions of followers. Call it whatever you will, call it luck or whatever, but I have a extended portfolio, extensive library of media, and I have people that jump in and are engaged and connected. And to me, that's kind of the whole point. That's what it's all about. Bro, what does the back of a head look like? Sometimes done this in the past for some for textures like, I don't know, fur, for example, or what, scales, like chameleon scales or something like that. I'll buy like a figurine, take some polymer clay like this, and just kind of like mash it onto the figurine, then bake it. Then you just have like a handy little texture tool. This is kind of working. William, welcome back. Yeah, when I was a teenager, I was making sculptures way more frequently. There's like some really cool YouTube channels out there that make like these nice edited videos of them sculpting a piece. Looks really cool. And I made a few videos like that, but once again, it was kind of the same issue that I had with like uh, even just talking head videos. I can make the art and I can film myself making the art, and I could talk about it at length, but once again, all of that is just like more, I know that it's more editing that I have to do. And editing just doesn't feel like an effective use of my time, which is difficult uh, because this is YouTube, but the streaming's been going pretty good. No, I did not watch Michael Jackson's Moonwalker. I got to see it at least once because I know that Will Vinton's like work is in it or something. But yeah, I've never seen Moonwalker. In the Will Vinton documentary, the scene where they like introduce Michael Jackson, or at least just talk about how Michael Jackson like the scene where they recorded like all the voice messages that Michael Jackson left trying to get into contact with Will Vinton. That scene was so funny. Like the answering machine or whatever, it has like a blinking light, and you hit the button. The guy hits the button, and you just hear Michael Jackson on the line being like, "Hey, Will, can you pick up? I really would like to talk to you about something." Then it's like beep. Then there's another, and he's like, "Will, are you there? Hello." He just sounds so weird. "Hello, Will. Please call me back." And then there's like another message, and then you hear another message come in, and it's a guy like, "Hey, Will, you might want to check your phone because I think Michael Jackson's trying to get in contact with you right now." And then another message comes in, and Michael's like, "Will, are you there? Will, I'd really like to talk with you." Oh God, it seems so funny. Did I like lose a tool? What the heck's going on? Oh, it's like buried. Feels good to breathe. No, I'm not familiar with that specific commercial. Will Vinton he did a lot of commercials, like a lot. Yeah, I felt bad because like Will Vinton was clearly a very ambitious guy, and he really did have vision for like using the claymation to make films and do stuff like that, like tell bigger stories, push clay animation into like the mainstream. But just, I guess, just due to how things were at the time, he just kind of had to settle with commercials. I mean, he still made amazing stuff regardless, but yeah, that must have been really hard, where it's like he really had this talent for using the clay animation technique that he pioneered for feature films. And like the crazy thing is, we did get to see a glimpse of it in The Adventures of Mark Twain. It's just a shame that the film didn't do well, and that after that it was kind of like settling for more like commercial projects. It's just one of those things where it was like, he had to make the money, and the money was in TV commercials and stuff like that. But no, I really do believe that The Adventures of Mark Twain, the animation is just one of a kind. And the story and writing, it's a very sophisticated story that it's a very wondrous film, but it did not really, I think people just weren't really ready for it. People still just aren't really ready for it. It's one of those films where it's like, it's very adult. It tackles very adult themes. It tackles things like death. Other kids' films were not doing that. So I think that people just really didn't know what to make of it. I would have at least liked to see what was it? The Kiss? What was it called? The Frog Prince adaptation that he was going to make with clay animation. I would have liked to see that, because you guys know how it was, like after the mid 90s, all these other animation studios were trying to get like a piece of the animated musical pie type thing, with varying degrees of success. But yeah, just like even Don Bluth, like he did Anastasia, right? And it's like, oh, okay, that was his take on the whole, like, let's face it, like, it's animated princess musical type thing. Oh, Popeye's your favorite cartoon character? I'm so sorry for what I've done to him. But yeah, I think, did I not start the war clock? Oh, I did. I mean, yeah, like this does not have to, it's I was gonna say this doesn't have to look perfect. They never look perfect, but that's okay. But I think that we've done it. It's just like I could work on this for another hour and I'm sure it would be like 2% better, but eventually you just kind of have to move on. Sorry, it's like getting kind of hot in here. That is true. If it wasn't for Popeye, we wouldn't have had Mario. More specifically, if we didn't have copyright and licensing, we wouldn't have Mario. But yeah, yeah. What's my favorite movie? I can't answer that question. That's like asking someone like, "What's your favorite food?" Different foods satisfy different areas of your mouth and different areas of your brain. There can't be like a definitive, like, I could have a favorite food, but it would depend on the day. But no, I think a better question would be like, what's your favorite movie right now? And I can definitely talk about that. But first, I think I gotta bake this guy. I'm wondering if he'll stand on his own. Because his center of gravity is kind of off. I oh. I have a couple wooden bases, but they're underneath my camera. Yeah. I think I'll probably hot glue this to a wooden base. But yeah, I think we've done it. He's looking good. I like the little scars I added. So here's the thing. In this scene, there is there's a pipe, his quintessential Popeye pipe in the shot. But the reason that I'm not adding it to here is because if I do want to sell this, it's like it's gonna be too fragile, I think. Yeah, it's just gonna be too fragile. The back of the head looks good. Can you guys see that detail? Yeah, you can. Oh, you got this. You got this, camera. Oh, the the stubble. It's so unsettling. It looks so pleasing in gray. It really does. I mean, I have to paint this, but I'll have to like make more faces and just keep them gray. Like, really. All right. I'm all right. So here's what's going to happen. I'm going to take this downstairs. I'm going to heat up the oven. I'm going to throw it in and I'll be right back. Yeah, the oven has to preheat, but I'm going to set the timer for just like an extra, I don't know, 15 minutes or something. All right, be right back. Don't go anywhere. I think I'm just going to add a little signature. I think I'll, yeah, just going to carve in. All right, so let me just set a timer for this guy. Let's see. Per quarter inch. Maybe I'll put it in for 30 minutes. And it has to preheat 35. Here, you know what? I'll do 30 minutes. And in 30 minutes, I'm going to turn off the oven and just let it very, very, very gradually just cool down. I don't know if this makes any difference, but what I tend to do when it comes to baking these polymer sculptures is I will try to make sure that the temperature goes down as slowly as possible, because I don't want to just suddenly take the clay out and have it cool too fast, because I feel like that would definitely crack. Like that would definitely make it crack. So I just want the clay, for my own sanity, to just kind of cool off as slowly as possible. If I do have to take it out of the oven, I I wrap it in a blanket or a towel, just to kind of keep the heat in for longer. Set to 275. Yeah, I mean, like I'm trying to think the last time I made something with this clay. I have so much of this stuff that I have not used because I overstocked on it when I was a teenager, when I was making this stuff like all the time. But the cool thing is now I can do it on stream. One of my oh yeah, one of my lights is just on the ground. Ooh, I just got super tired. Where's my water? Oh yeah. I don't teach clay sculpting, at least not at the moment, but I will say that like the best teacher is experience. I never studied this formally. I just started by making sculptures of video game characters. That was what I did. And depending on what video game series I was super into at the time, I would sculpt characters from those games with whatever clay I had. I went for a run today. I'm so tired. Pardon me. But yeah, actually, like I have ideas of things that I want to sculpt, but I just because I'm always working on like these animations and stuff, I don't get the time. But now that I'm on stream, could be fun. Look at this, for example. This was like a just a little foundation that I made recently. Who is this? Only one way to find out. I'll have to do it on stream sometime. But in the meantime, it's going to stay right here. Insight in mind. Okay. So, I don't know if I'll get to painting that statue tonight because I want to allow it enough time to cool down. Maybe I'll do it tomorrow. But I'm going away this weekend, so I just gotta. I'll get to it whenever. I'm like just kind of chilling, but at the same time, I also want to get onto the next project soon. Kind of be done with this. But yeah, it's just like good guess, William. That's very observant of the pose and that the character is clearly wearing like a skirt or a dress. Very well done. Not Princess Peach. It's an original character, so you definitely don't know her, but very good guess. So let's take a look. So I mentioned to you guys that I was thinking of making like another establishing shot for the Popeye project. Just of the boat. There's so many tabs open. Let me see if I can show you guys. I think I showed you guys this on either the previous stream or something else, but anyway. Where is it? Yes, here. Okay, so you guys all see this? So we have the whole project here. Really rough cut, blah, 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 blah. So I'm thinking of doing an establishing shot with the ship. Oh, and I also have to photograph the sky. I forgot about that. Ooh, the tyranny of choice. Yeah. Okay. I think I'll get to work on that. Yeah, that's one of the cool things about doing a stream like this is like I don't have all day to like dwell on something and ruminate on stuff. Just, kind of go with my gut on it. Granted, the consequence is very large because whatever I decide, like if I do decide to, make something with this kind of clay and paint it or add in an additional shot, it's going to take a lot of hours. But that's okay because we have more stream. All right. So, I just off the top of my head, the water I'll do with my blue clay, same method as I did for the Clay Fighter musical. So what's the boat going to look like? That's the question. It's so tempting to like work on another sculpture, but I want to stay on the Popeye project for now because this has to get done. Let's have a look. I'm just going to be browsing reference photos. But yeah, so let's see. Someone asked me like what's my favorite movie and then asked what's my favorite movie right now. So I'm going to we can all get on this subject because I'm always down to talk about movies. But I'll talk about a few things, a couple movies that really connected with me recently. Yeah, what do I suppose I will make the boat look like something from Popeye or Cuphead. I don't think like actually basing it on like a naval ship is really going to do it. It's going to not really doing it for me. Talk about the movies soon. It's just kind of hard to talk and type at the same time. All right. Well, I guess let's bring up one that's still relatively new. K-pop Demon Hunters. So like, I went into K-pop Demon Hunters like expecting it to be like really cringe, garbage, like really lame, overhyped. But I actually ended up loving it a lot. Or rather, really liking it. But yeah, I've seen it, good animation. I love that I don't know who any of the voice actors are in that movie. I love that so much. We talked about this last time. I'm just so sick of seeing like the same A-list Hollywood American celebrities in every single animated movie, despite not being voice actors. And like the thing is, that's not always bad. Like for something like Frozen, where you get all of this Broadway talent to voice the characters, like to me that makes sense because Frozen is a musical, follows the musical theater format. without any deviation. To me, like getting Adina Menzel or what, Jonathan Groff to be in that movie, that's a pretty inspired choice. But yeah, no, not Chris Pratt as Garfield or what, Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong. I'm just looking at different pictures of ships. This one probably has the best silhouette. Yeah, I need a ship to just be sinking in the water. It does not have to be a big model. It just has to show up on screen for like literally like less less than 5 seconds, just so the audience knows where we are. I still need a sky back though. Probably keep these out. But yeah, so K-pop Demon Hunters was something that I enjoyed way more than I thought I would. It like the thing about K-pop Demon Hunters is like it's so simple. Like I wasn't expecting anything deep or profound to come out of K-pop Demon Hunters. I thought like at best this is just going to be a breezy, fun little animated movie with, good music, likable characters, fun villains. And that was exactly what I got. And like I've heard people complain that the movie is not deep enough or it's not saying enough and this and that. And I personally like I just don't I feel like the film being what it is and the writing being what it is, having like a fun, breezy, lighthearted animated movie like that, I think that was like the best that we could have gotten. Because keep in mind that this is a big budget animated movie coming from a major animation studio. I do not think for a second that there was ever going to be some like deep, profound satire of like the K-pop industry like it sounded like some people were hoping for. I know absolutely nothing about K-pop. I've never listened to a K-pop. I don't know any K-pop artists. I do not know anything about K-pop. And even after seeing the movie, I am no more interested in K-pop now than I was before. But I really enjoyed the movie. And I enjoyed the songs too. I was worried the songs really would not click with me. But no, I just had a fun time, you know? I listened to the I would listen to the songs at the gym and I'd be at home and I'm just like working, listening to the songs, they're catchy. And I'm like, you know what? Might as well throw on the movie while I'm at it. That's one thing that I really have to give to K-pop Demon Hunters is like from a intellectual property point of view, you can't ask for more. Like the film it's not just a film, it is an IP, it is a brand. Like even recently, I was at like the grocery store and I saw like shitty bootleg, pardon my language, K-pop Demon Hunter figures being sold there. I'm like, God, everyone wants some of it. Yeah, the reason I excuse myself for swearing is because like I don't want this. I don't want these streams to be exclusive for those uh for adults. Like I remember when I first started like swearing in some of my YouTube videos, particularly during Clay Kremling, a lot of my viewers from Brickbob Films would get so upset. But like I don't know, everyone's just kind of different. But like I think I guess I'm chill with swearing on stream, but trying to keep it to a minimum because I try to maintain some sense of professionality. You know what I mean? Also, considering that kids are using the internet like natively, like right out of the womb, I feel like you got to give them a little bit of credit. Like it's not like it's nothing they haven't heard before. Anyway, back to what I was saying. Yeah, K-pop Demon Hunters, like I really don't think that the writing allowed for something much deeper. Like, just a good movie. You know what I mean? Yeah, James, like I it is very rare when a movie is coming out. First of all, movies like really don't come out that often anymore. I mean, significantly less. The industry is just going through a whole bunch of change. But yeah, it's like I can't think of I can't think of something coming out where I'm like, "Oh my god, I have to see this in theaters." You know what I mean? A new Star Wars movie is released in a few days and I feel. Wait, what? Really? Making a new Star Wars movie? I heard that. I mean, I'm not surprised, but I can't I can't think of anything remarkable that I've seen come out of the Disney Star Wars era. You know what we could do? We could talk about Star Wars. So the thing was like, oh man, with Star Wars, it's like, where do you even begin? You know? There's just so much of it. There's so much Star Wars. Yeah, Rise of Skywalker is like one of the worst things I think I've ever seen. It's like an offense on so many different areas. I can't think of anything redeeming about Rise of Skywalker. Is it actually considered non-canon or is it only considered non-canon by the fans? Because look, I hate Rise of Skywalker as much as the next guy, but it's still canon. Like it's a mainline Star Wars movie. It's episode 9. Yeah, kind of what happened to me with Star Wars was like after episode 9 came out and was bad, I wasn't excited for anything Star Wars anymore because I was just like if they couldn't get this right, like this should have been their priority. Like 100% should have been their priority. If they could not get episode 9, like if they just couldn't do the new trilogy right, and to add insult to injury to the fact that like episode 9 was clearly like a reactionary, poorly strung together disaster. Like if they couldn't land that, why would I think that they could get anything else right? Yeah, I agree. Return of the Jedi is a good ending. Trying to get the scale of this. I watched some Tom and Jerry growing up. Not a lot. It wasn't one of those cartoons that left a really big impact on me. I remember when I was a kid, I really loved, like, I had this box set that came with 3 Tom and Jerry movies. Well, one of them was more of a collection of episodes, but yeah, it came with the Tom and Jerry movie from, like, like the 90s, like the one where they talk and they sing. It's like a musical. That one was all right. It's not good in hindsight, and it's kind of memeable because, like, the villains, but yeah. No, that one was like, I thought that one was fine. I thought that I really liked Tom and Jerry, the Fast and the Furry. I remember I was on, like, a trip at some, like, relative's house or something. I don't know. It wasn't a relative. I was like super bored, and it came on the TV, and, like, watching that while on vacation was like the highlight of the whole trip, was seeing that movie. I loved the Fast and the Furry when I was a kid. It was so goofy. It was so wacky. And there was also the Magic Ring. I feel like there's just so much Tom and Jerry stuff. Like, it's so old. Like, it's like, I think, I don't know. It's just one of those things that, like, I watched as a kid, but it didn't really leave a big impact on me. I was spoiled by SpongeBob and Rugrats and Disney movies and stuff like that. I'm trying to think what other animated shows I watched. I watched Ed, Ed and Eddie. I did not see the Tom and Jerry movie that came out a few years ago, and I really don't care. It's just kind of like, you know, whatever. Did not see. Yeah, I didn't see the new Willy Wonka. Like, there's 3 versions of Willy Wonka, and it's just like why? Like, why do there need to be three Willy Wonka Factory movies? For me, I have too much nostalgia for the Tim Burton one. That one was new when I was a little kid, so that was my Willy Wonka movie growing up. That was it, instead of the Gene Wilder one, which people, like, tend to remember a lot more fondly. But mine growing up was the Tim Burton one with Johnny Depp. Oops. This shouldn't take too long. I have to lock in. So another movie that I saw recently that I've fallen deeply in love with is Uncut Gems. Any of you guys seen Uncut Gems? So far, you guys have, like every movie that I've talked about here on stream, you guys have seen it too, and I'm, like, genuinely impressed. Like, you guys have seen so much stuff that I have. I'm trying to keep up with you guys. But yeah, no, Uncut Gems was like, that was like one of those movies that came out and people said that it was good, but because, like, it was really popular and stuff like that, everyone was talking about it. I was like, I was thinking, when it came out, because, like, it was Adam Sandler, like, he makes really bad movies. I was like, oh, this has to be overhyped. It's probably just okay, and everyone's saying it's good because, Adam Sandler is typically in movies that are not good. Why? It's like, what, some kind of a crime thriller or something. I mean, what? Like, the premise. Here's the thing about Uncut Gems. All right, Quinns, you haven't seen it, so I'm going to try not to spoil anything, but, like, The thing about Uncut Gems is its premise does not promise anything remarkable. It's a crime thriller, it has Adam Sandler. You can kind of you have an idea, like just hearing those two things, Adam Sandler crime thriller, you probably have an idea in your head of like what you're going to deal with in the movie. But where it really triumphs is the execution. I mean, the cast is really good, but it has this very unique direction, this very unique directorial approach to it that really, really sets it apart. The It's a very intense, anxiety-inducing movie with a lot of stress, a lot of confusion, and very, very few moments of catharsis. But overall, like the way they bring it together is like they turn it into a contemporary Greek tragedy. That's really what the film is, I think. And I remember when I first saw the movie, I was telling people about it. I was like, yeah, it's kind of like Breaking Bad, but in like 2.5 hours, you know? It has like those thrills, it has the the highest of highs and the lowest of lows. But the soundtrack and sound design in the movie is like legit phenomenal. Like I never I never think about like sound design in movies, but like the sound design in Uncut Gems is like legit like amazing. And the original score is like mind-blowing. It's like this ethereal, nightmarish choir, very distinctive original score. The original score is so good. I not kidding. I listen to the original score like in my downtime. Like it's so different. The ending is amazing. It's yeah, it's a very bleak, dark, anxiety-inducing, grim movie, and I love it so much. It also has like this like the visually it's very pleasing too. It takes place in New York City, and it's got like this high contrast color grading to it. Visually, it's a very good looking movie. But yeah, I'm genuinely curious what other films the what is it the Safdie brothers have worked on before Uncut Gems. But yeah, it's like Uncut Gems is just one of those movies where it takes like a very standard whatever premise, not expecting too much, and just elevates it so much through a combination of its acting and its soundtrack. Oh, and there goes our timer. Forgot about that. This is why we set timers, excuse me. So I'll be right back. And you know what? That's what I'm going to do. Because, you know, because I get anxious, I am going to leave a little note on the oven. It says to not turn it on. Yeah, sorry, I didn't expect my thing to be that loud. Sorry about that. I know that the microphone picks up like everything. We should be good. You just need just a good little ship. I don't need too much detail. Okay, our audio is on. Yeah, I mean, because when I went to college, I studied Greek theater. It was not my major. I just took some classes where we went over just really old pieces of story, performance. I mean, theater was basically the ultimate escapism for the time. It was like the movie theaters of the time. And high drama, high stakes, very flawed main character. The high drama, the high drama is just there's something so compelling about the Greek tragedy. So take Breaking Bad for example. Breaking Bad is very much a contemporary Greek tragedy where you have a character who has status, who has by all means good things, who has attained some level of success, and through a combination of just hubris and circumstance, just destroys all of it. Like watching a character through their cunningness and their hubris destroy themselves while trying to save the thing that matters most to them. It's deeply visceral, very compelling. Also, Uncut Gems has a really really good pace. It's 2.5 hours long, so it's a little up there. But every scene flows very well into the next. It doesn't drag. It gives you a couple moments to breathe. But I feel like Uncut Gems is just a really good example of just what good directing can do. You can have a very, conventional script, but with good directing, you can bolster it into something much more grandiose. Jeffrey, what's up? I don't think I've seen you here before. Custom action figures. Could you elaborate on that? I make, I don't know, maquettes, statuettes, figurines, whatever you want to call them, out of clay. I don't know if you're talking about customizing figures and stuff. Trying to keep this clay clean. I mean, based on that description, I mean, I guess I'm all for it. I've done stuff like that. So before I was internet savvy, when I was a kid, The way that I got started, so like I was always sculpting stuff with clay. Let me get this out of the way. I was always sculpting things with clay. And what I would do was I would go to the video store. There was a video store just down the road, and they had video games there. And like, Xbox, PlayStation, stuff like that. But I didn't have an Xbox or PlayStation. So I would just pick up the game boxes and I would look at the art. I would look at the characters, like, and then I would go home and I would attempt to recreate the characters from memory. That was how I started. But yeah, so I just kind of always kept doing it. Like throughout my whole teens, I was making stuff from clay, making statues, making figures, finding new exciting things to do with it. And then at the start of COVID, I began making casts and molds of my designs. So I talked about this last time and I showed one of my pieces. I made a sculpture based on a character from the video game Earthbound, which I just completed at the time. So I beat that game and I made a sculpture. I made a sculpture of the character Gygus, and it was just like Mother 2 and Earthbound sculptures were, or statues, merchandise period was very, very rare. Like they made a couple limited runs of Earthbound figures, and they're all really expensive, like they're collector's pieces. But they never made anything of Gygus, the main villain, because Gygus was, meant to be like this intangible, terrifying, otherworldly being. So I made one out of clay, and I began selling it as like, a custom art piece. But yeah, no, people were really digging it. So I guess I have made custom figures. Granted, I don't consider these to be action figures. It's like they're just kind of works of art, meant to sit on the shelf. But yeah, I also made like a Bad Mr. Frosty from Clay Fighter 1, a Blob from Clay Fighter 2, and I was selling them for a bit. But I just kind of got bored. I mean, it's a lot of work to make those pieces by hand, and you have to market them, you have to get them in front of the right eyes, you have to ship them. For like, the products are really cool, but there's a lot of hurdles that you have to go through to get that product to the customer. You know what I mean? Like people would always ask me like, "Oh, do you sell your pieces?" Like when I was younger. And then but I was always like, "Well, I'm not really, it's not practical to be selling original pieces because they are one of a kind, you know?" So it's like, because it's a one of a kind, I would have to price it as such. But especially back then when I was like a teenager, like who's going to pay that much? I did do some commissions, but I do not market myself as like, oh yeah, I'll make custom sculptures and send them to you. Like it just doesn't, it's not really practical. I might get rid of these masts. Here's the thing. I have to work with the black clay, but I'm procrastinating because the black clay is so, like, it just gets on your hands so much. No, I don't remember what characters they were. If I saw the box, I could probably point it out. All I know is it definitely wasn't Nintendo games. It was like Xbox, PlayStation 2 games at that video store. So the the games were more edgy, more dark, more badass. Yeah, no, Earthbound was amazing. And yeah, I was just so inspired to I was so inspired to make something. I made multiple figurines based on Earthbound. I also made Porky Minch and who's another antagonist, and I made the car painter. So actually, yeah, I had a customer in Japan who was commissioning them for a while, but I had to charge him for making those pieces. But I would not do that today because like it was a lot of work, and I was getting paid good but not enough for the amount of work it was. And then of course I told him one day like, all right, here's my new price, and then it was just too much for him, and that was it. Like you know like it's a shame, but you really you only have so many hours in the day, and you have to make like delegate and see like, okay, what's worth your time. I wish I could just make stuff for everyone, but it is tricky. Yeah, Mad Magazine of fighting games. I never liked the gameplay in any of the Clay Fighter games, but the games had a lot of charm. They really did. It's just a shame that it got like dealt a really bad hand and never really got the chance to sort of take off and get like a proper game. Like all the games were rushed, the animation suffered in a lot of them. That was one of the reasons why I wanted to do more clay animation projects of based on Clay Fighter, because I wanted I wanted to give it the treatment that it deserved, and I think that I really got there with the Sculptor's Cut musical. I've never played the Neverhood. Isn't it for like a really old Windows OS? It I don't know if it had like a release on Steam, but yeah, I never played the Neverhood. Yeah, something like the Neverhood, like from what I've seen of it, the animation didn't look nearly as like compressed and uh, just limited as what we were getting in the Clay Fighter series. This boat is making me think of the opening from the SpongeBob movie. So good. So good. I have to text a couple people. My favorite edgy game, it wasn't rated teen, it was rated M, was Conker's Bad Fur Day. Oh, the multiplayer in that game was so good. Yeah, I'm trying to think. I think what else there was. You want to know what else I like? Well, something I liked when I was a kid. was I liked the original Mortal Kombat games, like the arcade ports, because it was pretty much it was pretty much stop motion, just with actors. But I thought it was so cool that because of the fact that they were using the stop motion technique to begin with, they were able to throw in otherworldly characters like Goro and Motaro and Kintaro. What's his name? But yeah, like the what was her name? Shiva, Shira, Shiva, the woman with like four arms. And I'm like, ooh, this is like some like Jason and the Argonauts, Clash of the Titans type of stuff. That was another reason why I liked, for instance, the Donkey Kong Country games. I liked those so much when I was a kid because even though they weren't stop motion, they were creating 3D models and yeah, creating 3D models and converting them into sprites. So all the characters did look like stop motion, like they look like toys, you know? I love that art style. It's very nostalgic. Except for Battletoads, yeah. The Donkey Kong Country series was one of the most influential game series to me growing up. I mean, so much so that I made a stop motion character based on the series, Clay Kremling. My idea for Clay Kremling was that he was a member of King K. Rool's army, but he was more of a misfit. Actually, what's kind of funny is like Clay Kremling, he does shape shifting sometimes. In the series, he does shape shifting a few times, and I'm like, wait, he's Kremlings can't do that. Like Kremlings are like crocodiles or alligators, so they can't like technically that would make Clay Kremling more of a shapeshifter, like which would make him a completely different species. But we don't think about that too hard. Yeah. Oh my God. The Donkey Kong from the original version of Survival of the Idiots. I remember filming that. I like vividly remember filming it. Yeah. Well, the thing was for that video, for example, I filmed that what, like December 2014, 12 years ago. I was not confident enough in my clay animation skills because I was doing the Lego stuff so often that I never had like the time to practice doing clay animation. So when the time came to do Survival of the Idiots, I was like, okay, I need something that could reasonably pass for hibernation Sandy. And I just, yeah, it was just like I had that Donkey Kong figure lying around. That was like, it's one of those things where it was like, it was a constraint that I turned into creativity. I mean, I didn't turn it into creativity. I just used the Donkey Kong figure for the animation. And like to this day, I still would get like people commenting on my new version being like, yo, the animation's great, but nothing will ever top the Donkey Kong figure. The Donkey Kong figure was just so hilarious. Damn, that's too bad, James. Yeah, I've beaten Banjo Kazooie a couple times, and I don't like it when I have to bust out a walkthrough in order to make it through a game. Like I really don't. And I liked Banjo Kazooie more after I knew how to beat it. Banjo Tooie, on the other hand, oh, I am not a fan. I am not a fan of Banjo Tooie. Yeah, California Raisins, like I never watched them growing up. Like I don't know. I feel like that was it was before my time. Like everything that Will Vinton like was known for, like that it was all before my time. I I was born in the early 2000s. But California Raisins, like a lot of adults know about them. I'm assuming it was because like you just couldn't escape them being on TV because they were really like just a marketing prodigy, you know? They did get their own show, but it wasn't clay animation. So disappointing. Granted, those those cartoons must have been made on like the tightest of budgets. So I'm definitely not surprised. Yeah, no, like Banjo Kazooie is such an exciting game. You can run into a world and just collect things, complete missions, complete the tasks. Like those worlds are small but very, very exciting. But Banjo Tooie, it's like the worlds are absolutely enormous. Everything takes 100 years to do. Everything's all interconnected too, like across different worlds, and it's a huge world. And it's just like a really boring, tedious, monotonous experience. There's like so many more new moves that you have to learn. It's so much like more bigger and more does not equal better. You definitely get you experience the law of diminishing returns in Banjo Tooie. Yeah, that's surprising. Yeah, no, I liked Banjo Kazooie when I was a kid, but I never liked Banjo Kazooie more than Conquer because for me, like Conquer's Bad Fur Day was just like a different experience, you know? Yeah, Conquer's Bad Fur Day. That game. That game would never get made today. I grieved for years that we never got the sequel to Conquer's Bad Fur Day. And even though there was the remake in Live and Reloaded, they did some like they fleshed out like the world, like the Conquer universe in it, and like made more clever movie references, took on like a darker, grittier angle. And it was just like it had potential. It's just a shame that Conquer got dealt a bad hand. Oh, the Donkey Kong cartoon. I actually have some figurines from the Donkey Kong cartoon. I have King K. Rool, I have Krusha and Clump. I have all the Kremlings. Because at the time when I was a kid, those were like there were no I was the biggest King K. Rool fan, and there were no figurines of him. So getting that King K. Rool figurine, like I saw it on YouTube and I was like, I have to have this. And I got one on eBay. Like one popped up on eBay and I got it. And I was, oh, such an amazing day. Yeah, the like to this day, King K. Rool getting announced for Smash Brothers, like that, I still it is what we're 8 years later, and I still don't even believe that happened. I don't. Oh, Sean, what's up? Welcome. Yeah, I never played Viva Pinata. I don't think I played anything that was like post post Nintendo Rareware. I did play the Conquer Project Spark thing. It was hilarious how quickly Microsoft put a cork on that. Can you believe that? Like one episode, we got one episode, one installment, the pilot for the Conquer Project Spark thing, and never anything again. Oh, like I legit don't know what is going through some people's heads sometimes. Like who thought that like you take a character that people really, 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 really like, you don't instead of giving him a new game, you just give him like a weird cameo appearance to help promote some IP that no one's heard about. Like, what's the strategy there? Like, give the character a new game. It's so bizarre. Yeah, the Kremling should have been in it. Yeah, I I can like I vividly you guys are now really, really seeing just how big, how influential these games were on my childhood and my upbringing. But yeah, I vividly remember being like driven back home from the Target with my copy of Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze in hand. I was so excited to play it. And oh, I played that. I remember I beat the game, got all the collectibles, beat it on hard mode, and beat it on time attack mode, and got gold plaques for every single level in the game, every single one. I played that game to the bone. I remember being so disappointed when I I like I beat the game, got all the things on time attack, and I didn't get any like special ending or anything like that. Like that's the thing. Like there weren't any incentives to get it for every get the gold placard for every level in the game. Like you're not like there's no secret world that you have to unlock. Like you don't have to do the time attack levels to unlock anything. I just did it because I love the game that much. The music is amazing, the visuals are amazing. Yeah. And then I just then Donkey Kong got like no games for years. So disappointing. But oh well, what can you do? Yeah, I'm not planning on getting a Switch 2 anytime soon. I'm probably never. Yeah, I played like one of the big reasons for me that I did not want to get a Switch 2 was that I kind of felt betrayed with the Switch 1. So I had the Wii growing up, got all the games for that, and then I got the Wii U. But then when I got the Switch, I was just blown away. Like the Wii U, say what you want. The first party titles for the Wii U were great, like really, really, really great, amazing. And then for Switch, they just sold you all the same games again at full price with just a little bit of extra, basically DLC added. And I just felt very betrayed. I was like, wow, supported Nintendo during the Wii U years when I didn't even have like money, when I was a kid. And now I invested in their new console and they're just selling me all the same thing again. And now I have to pay for online at full price. So the only game that I ever rebought for the Nintendo Switch was Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. But I remember I was so disgusted that the game was being sold at full price. I think I think Tropical Freeze for Switch was being sold for more than it was on the Wii U. But yeah, I was just so disgusted that I bought one on the secondhand market because I didn't want to give my I didn't want to give my money to Nintendo. I was like, nope, just give me the game. I'm gonna get it, and I'm not giving you my money for it. Have any of you guys seen this? Because we're talking about Donkey Kong Country 3 now, or I see you guys talking about it. Have you guys seen? There's like this YouTube video called like Donkey Kong Country 3 and declining birth rates or something. I remember me and my friend would have like we would have like an affectionate like argument about like I would always say, "Oh, Donkey Kong Country 3 is the worst of the trilogy." And he'd be like, "Nah, bro, that's the best one." And I'm like, "Kiddy Kong. Kiddy Kong sucks." He's like, "No, Kiddy Kong's the best one." Yeah, Donkey Kong Country 3 is a good it's a good game, and it has a distinctive style, like a distinctive, I guess, atmosphere. But in terms of sheer spectacle, it definitely falls short. Like Donkey Kong Country gets a pass like either way. It's very humble. It was the first to do it. So everything in that game was new. But I just felt that Donkey Kong Country 2 was such a magnificent, epic, climactic feud between the Kongs and the Kremlings. The worlds were very, very like weird and otherworldly. Like you started the first world was the ship that you fought the boss on in the first game, and then you went to a volcano like deep in the center of the island, and then you went to a hornet hive and a Kremling carnival and a gloomy haunted forest, and just like you just went to all of these like really out there worlds, and I loved how much it committed to like the pirate theme, how all the Kremlings became pirates. But yeah, so like by contrast, like Donkey Kong Country 3 is just it kind of just feels more like just more platforming stuff, but less. It doesn't hit as hard. The music is very chill. The setting is like okay, like I like the northern Cremisphere, but like it's just okay, you're going to woods over here. Oh, you go up to a summit. Oh, you go up to a waterfall. You just I mean the map is pretty cool. Kitty Kong is the worst Kong. Kitty Kong is not as good to play as Dixie. I'll say that. He's yeah, my homies, they don't like Kitty Kong. I remember his name would piss me off. I would think of like Kitty, like sounds like a cat, like a Kong that dresses like a cat. It's just not right. I don't like his name. I would have preferred him to be called Baby Kong. That would have been better. Yeah, once again, like it's got like the cool graphics, good platforming. I mean, Donkey Kong Country 3 has like gimmicky levels, but like I don't know, I'm fine with it. I like the whole Baron K. Rulestein thing, but the problem that I have with Baron K. Rulestein is it's not that I have a problem with Baron K. Rulestein, is that the rest of the game doesn't do anything like that. Like the whole rest of the game is just Dixie Kong and Kitty Kong running around in the woods and climbing up waterfalls and stuff like that, like the whole time. Sledding. But then you have Baron K. Rulestein, and I'm like, what about Baron K. Rulestein integrates with the rest of the world? Like, you don't have none of the other Kremlings are like, I don't know, Frankenstein themed. You know what I mean? Like, Donkey Kong Country 2 just had like this really clear, like, oh, we're doing a swashbuckling pirate feud thing, you know? But yeah, just like Donkey Kong Country 3, I don't know what they were really going for. Just kind of chill northern Cremisphere setting. Baby Kong was already used, was it? Like in the show? Yeah, dude, why did we never get to see King K. Rool's wife? That would have been really, really, really funny. Like he mentions, like he's like, "Oh, my wife's gonna be so mad." Why could we not like get a game where like King K. Rool is like, I don't know, captured by the Kongs or something? I don't know if they would do that, but I feel like after King K. Rool's crimes, it's probably would make sense to, you know, for him to pay a debt to society. But wouldn't it be so funny if they had like a game where like King K. Rool's like wife was the villain? I don't know. I feel like with Donkey Kong Country 3, there was potential. Like they could have done something more. I don't dare say what. It's just like it could have been anything, you know? Could have Donkey Kong, you could have had it take place in space. You could have had it be space themed. You could have had it be Western themed. You could have had it be like haunted house themed. I don't know. Man, I just loved how in like Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, for example, like there's such a great sense of cohesion. Like I like it has subtle cues in callbacks to Donkey Kong Country Returns. It's just like it's just so like it's got so much. It's a very very rich in detail game. Yeah, Donkey Kong Country Returns had like pretty generic worlds, except for like the factory themed world. Not saying it was bad. It was just like, it's just kind of like, okay, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze had like very unique settings. I, oh, wait, actually, yeah. So what was really cool about Jesus, Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze was even though it had like a whole bunch of like different world settings and stuff like that, you go to an Iceland, you go to a giant fruit processing factory land, you go to the savannah. Even though it has all of that, it's still there's a central theme that the snowmads, they're Vikings and they're trying to take over all these territories. Like I think that Donkey Kong Country 3 needed more of that. You know what I mean? Yeah, Donkey Kong 64, I did not play much. I did beat it. I think what I did was I started like the other dude's like some other dude's save file when I got the game because I collected Nintendo 64 games when I was a teenager because that's what you do when you're a kid. But yeah, like I I got the game. My friend completed it, like he 100%ed it. Me, I would always be like, look, I just when I beat the boss, I'm done. Yeah, I mean, Donkey Kong 64 has like a lot of charm. I love that it has the Kremlings and King K. Rool, but I just thought it was so bizarre how it's like Banjo Kazooie, but way, way bigger. And I just thought it was so cumbersome how it's like you have all these different Kongs to play as. Now, that's an exciting prospect on its own. But when you play the game, you just have all of these different items that need to be collected, but you have to play a certain Kongs to collect. Like it's not even like, oh, you have to do a mission with only this Kong or only that Kong. Like just to collect certain varieties of bananas, which are like the most basic collectibles, you have to play as a certain Kong. So it doesn't feel like you have all these options of different Kongs to play as, and you can do your own like approach to the platforming. It then ends up feeling like you're just playing like five different collectathon games happening at the same time, you know? You guys know what I mean? Yo, Juggle, welcome back. Good to see you. Yeah, I had a friend that just really loved 100%ing games, but that I was never like that. I should like put a name on the side of this ship that says like I don't know that the SS Everfloat or something like that. Just something funny, something ironic. SS never sinks. Yeah, that was another reason why I liked Conker's Bad Fur Day so much is because first of all, game looks amazing, animation is great, the voice acting is so bizarre and so funny. It is so rude. It is so like it's the ultimate prank, that game. And there's a lot of moments because like the way the game is structured, the cutscenes, it's like a playable movie, but I really do. I call Conker's Bad Fur Day like it's a playable movie, really. There's not really different ways that you can do things. Like the game has a plot that you have to follow, but I get all of the benefits I feel of going on a journey. The sights, the characters, the settings, the atmosphere, the music, the the challenge, the conflict. Like I get all of those things, but without like being encumbered like, "Oh yeah, do you want to spend hours and hours and hours finding every single thing that there is to get in this game so you can increase your percentage score?" Like, I don't know. Like even in Banjo Kazooie, like the ending is good. Like it's not like you're missing out on an amazing ending if you don't if you don't collect everything. I know that games will have things like if you 100% it, you'll get like a you'll get a special ending. But yeah, no, Conker's Bad Fur Day. That one really connected with me a lot. Yeah, I was legit terrified. Like I played that game when I was I must have been like 12 when I played Conker's Bad Fur Day. And I remember I brought the game over to my grandparents' house. I hunkered down and I made it a project. I was like, I'm gonna play through this whole game. I was so immersed, just heavily immersed. And I had a blast. I laughed. I was terrified. I was legit terrified from being locked in the giant Count Batula mansion with all the zombies. I was so terrified. Like the atmosphere in that game legitimately, like, it works. The music is so good. I mean, is it any like, are you guys surprised at all that so much of the music in my Brick Bob Films videos are from Conker's Bad Fur Day? Like, it's just so good. Yeah, it's great. Awesome. All I wanted more of it. Yeah, it always seemed like the thing that I connected with the most would end up like not doing super well. Like at least Banjo-Kazooie got a sequel. But yeah, I had always heard about the fabled Conker's Other Bad Day, and I was heartbroken that it never saw the light of day. But when I look back on Conker's Bad Fur Day, I'm just thankful that it came out, period. Like, forget about a sequel. Like, I'm just so glad that that first game came out. It would never get made today. It would never get made for a Nintendo console. Even if the game did get made for some platform somewhere, it definitely would not have had a lot of the jokes that it ended up getting. It's just a one-of-a-kind experience from a very specific point in human history, and it exists forever. Oh yeah, well here's the thing, like all of these games have certain missions that just that just suck. The Cogs mission was, I hated doing that. I remember the first time I played Conker's Bad Fur Day, like the TV that I was playing on, it was like some HD TV, and I could not see my way through certain points of the game because it was so dark. Like the darks were so dark, and I struggled for hours trying to beat it. I yeah, so I wish I knew at the time that I could all I had to do was adjust the colors and the brightness on the TV, but I didn't know that at the time. All I knew how to do was turn on the TV, turn the volume up and down. Oh, are you talking about the disk drive for the Nintendo 64? Yeah, I didn't care for Mario 64 much at first, but I did end up making good memories playing it, and I like it today. I like it today. I have to say though, like I am legitimately like amazed by Mario 64. Like I was not alive in 1996, but I have played games from around the time that it came out and games that came out after it. And that game must have been like so unbelievably ahead of its time. Like I'm blown away by Mario 64. It's a genuinely like you play it and you're just like, this must have been so insane in 1996. It's like it's a very smart game, but the controls, the fidelity of the worlds, the amount of collectibles, like that game was just like, oh my God. Half-Life. I've never played Half-Life. I have heard about it though. I have to play Ocarina of Time. I have to play Zelda, period. I did play the one on like the original NES one from like 86. With the help of some save states, I was able to beat it on Nintendo Switch Online. But yeah, I need to play more. I need to play more of the Zelda series. The fantasy looks really cool. I feel like I would really fall in love with it. But I didn't play Zelda growing up. You know, I went for Mario. I do think it's cool that Nintendo has a really good palette of different flavors to choose from, you know? Like, I remember when I played Super Metroid. That game scared me so much when I was a kid, but I loved it. And I actually got pretty far into it. I didn't beat it, but I got pretty far into it when I was a kid. Then when I was a teenager, I came back and I beat the game. But yeah, really, really beautiful, elegant, just peak atmosphere in that game. Very good atmosphere. That game's like art. All right, this is a decent looking ship. I think we've almost done it. Now it's really just kind of making like the water stuff. Oh man, Jacob. Survival of the Idiots has to be one of my all-time favorite episodes of Brick Bob films. I'm trying to think about last year. I do want to go like sometime in the stream. I would like to go over like do some look backs on Brick Bob films and talk about it with the fans. But I want to rally more people over to this streaming series I'm doing so far. Hoping to do it this year when I make some new episodes of Brick Bob films. Like let everyone know, get everyone involved. But yeah, I would like to revisit some episodes, but Brick Bob films, Survival of the Idiots has to be one of my all-time favorites. I mean, I really like what I made last year. Krusty Towers came out great. One Crab's Trash was like, it was just, oh my gosh, I put everything into that one. Mrs. Puff You're Fired came out really good. Yeah, I would always give it my all. Squid Bob Tentacle Pants. I spent like I've told you guys before. I spent like an additional like 10, maybe 20 hours on the special effects, the clay animation special effects alone. And it was just, yeah, I love how it came out. Ocarina of Time came out in 98. Huh. Frankendoodle came out good too. I like Frankendoodle. That episode was such a big hit. I don't know why. I cannot tell you. Sorry about the noise. I cannot predict what makes a good episode, like what makes an episode take off on YouTube, you know? I think things were a bit different at the time because of like COVID and stuff. It was 2021. Everyone was shut inside. It was like January or something. Yeah. But I still have ideas and like visions for Brick Bob Films. Like I'm not done with Brick Bob Films, and I'm excited to get more people on board. Like doing these streams has just put a whole bunch of new ideas in my head about what making an episode of Brick Bob Films could be like. Yeah, I like whether it's Brick Bob Films or something like this, like I always want to give it that extra oomph, that extra bit, like go that extra mile when I'm working on a animation project. I have no clue what the worst movie I've ever seen is. I mean, I talked about this in stream. I really hate like Jurassic Park 2. It's so boring. It's like one of the most boring movies I think I've ever seen. Which is crazy because like there are movies that are like way worse than Jurassic Park 2, like from a technical level. I just like to me, like Jurassic Park 2 is like one of those movies that does have money and resources and a lot of expectation thrown at it from the get-go because it's the second installment in the Jurassic Park series. But that opening act is so bad and so flaccid that I just can't get invested for the rest of the movie. There's another movie that I really disliked. I was thinking of recently, but I can't think of it. Oh man. Sponge on the Run is so bad. Like Sponge on the Run, like I can't believe how bad that movie is. I have this black clay all over my hands. Let's see. So I have the ship. I'm not going to turn it around because it's a little bit flimsy. So here's the thing. Like the ship does not need to be built well. It's literally just like a couple second shot. Just the ship in the water. I'm working on the ship for over an hour. I just need the ship in the water. I need a shot of the ship in the water. What I think I'm going to do is I'm going to put the camera on top of, I have the camera right here. I'm going to put the camera on top of my Gear Junior head. And I'll have like, to give the illusion of the ship, kind of the bow going up, I'll probably crank the knob and have the camera tilt, make it look like we're in the ocean. And I'll have the waves around it. I'll have the water around it. Yeah, I'll if I am to stream again, like I'm going to put out some kind of a schedule because I like people to know ahead of time, and it gives me some accountability as well. Do I ever plan on making the first SpongeBob movie in Lego form? That's like this is I'll answer that now because this is like a question that I could very well talk about in another stream with the people from with my fans from Brick Bob Films. But like oh yeah, there's my leg. So here's the thing about making the first SpongeBob movie in Lego form. I think it could be a lot of fun. And it also helps the fact that I absolutely adore that movie. I'm not kidding, I would be happy to make that movie in Lego. I would probably get some people together, get some more voice actors, get actual like women to voice the female characters, get figure out like how to do something fun and creative for the whole thing with like the Cyclops and David Hasselhoff and all that stuff. I would there would have to be some figuring out to do. But here's the way I think about it. Like, it's possible. It absolutely is. It's just the problem is I I still need to figure out this whole model of me making stuff on the internet and like monetizing the process. Because the way that I've always done things was the animation would be the product, but now I want to make the product the process. Me sitting here working at my desk, making the film, and the animation is more like an event, you know? That's us making it. That's us at the finish line and watching what all those hours of work and us sitting together in the stream, talking and stuff like that. That's like the celebration party. But yeah, a Lego adaptation of the SpongeBob movie, I would like to do that someday. I don't know what the logistics are of it. All I know is if I really was prepared to make it, I could figure it out. I know I could. And I just love the movie. I'd love to make my own version of it. But the problem is, it's like the way that Brick Bob Films has gone so far is if I just started making it and just, well, first of all, I would need to release the movie in chunks. Like, there is no, like, making a whole hour plus long movie that would take a really long time just for what? One upload? And what if the upload doesn't do well? Then I can't eat, you know? So I'm still like, I'm positioning myself the right way. All I can say is never say never. Like, I would not mind making a Lego version of that movie. Like, I thought, like, shoot, like, I could animate it. I think I could. But there's just, now is not the time. And it may never be the time. I really don't know. It may never, but I'm not going to say, oh, I'm never going to make it. Like, yeah. I'm really curious to see what the new Lego SpongeBob sets, the rumored Lego SpongeBob sets, are going to look like. Either way, I'm sure I will find some way to integrate it into a video or, you know, Brick Bob Films or over here or whatever. I'll find some way to turn it into a thing. But you know what? So, yeah. Anyway, in the meantime, I mean, we're over 2 hours and I like, I'll probably do some setting up, but I am going to be going away this weekend. So I think I'm going to call the stream here. I still have editing to do for this project. I have to do like a couple more things, sky backdrop, a few more things. But you know what? When you're on home stretch for a project, like every single thing feels so much longer than it actually is, you know? Because that's just how it goes. You psych yourself out. Yeah, dude, that drives me crazy that Patrick is not the right shade of pink. He's like a flesh color, the Lego version of him. He's like a flesh color. That drives me crazy. That would be crazy if we got new minifigures for the set. Like, that would be awesome. I'd love to see that. But, you know, I'm just like, I'm not getting my hopes up. I'm not holding my breath. I'm gonna watch over the camera. I'm just going to take it as it comes. We still need to get confirmation from Lego about it, but I'm pretty much morally obliged to get the set at some point. Yeah. All right. Well, anyway, I'm going to call the stream here. I am pretty tired, and but we got some good progress done today. Got the boat done. Got Popeye's head sculpted. I'm going to take some pictures of it before I start painting it and stuff. This, I don't have a stream scheduled for tomorrow, but to everyone here, remember, drop a like. We're almost at 20 likes, which is awesome. And be sure to check out the Patreon and join for free. You can join it for free. That way, if anything happens to my YouTube, you can, you'll have a lifeline attached to me. But yeah, join the Patreon for free. Drop a like. We're going to come back soon. I have a lot of things I'm excited to stream coming up. So stick around, and also make sure that the bell notification is set to all so you can be notified for future streams. And in the meantime, have a good one. It's been a lot of fun. I'll see you next time.